This fall, I've been focusing on our principles, and I've been giving sermons about the different principles and lifting up, exploring the different ones. And today, we're going to look at the fourth principle. Let's say this one together. We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Well, like the others, we want to unpack this a little bit and see what at least the folks that put these principles together back in the 60s when the Unitarian and Universalists came together, what do they mean by these kinds of things? Well, of course, a free search. Wow, that Unitarian Universalists are all about that. You know, we don't tell me exactly what I have to think. Don't fence me in. Don't give me some dogma or doctrine. I want to be able to have a free search without some person in a hierarchy saying, this is the path you must take. So we like that. But then there's another part. It's a free and responsible search. So we have to be responsible when we go down these paths. That means we as Unitarian Universalists can't just do anything. Some people say, y'all can believe anything, y'all can do anything, and anything goes. Well, no, we have to be responsible. We don't need to be doing things that may hurt ourselves or hurt others. We have to live up to our principles that we're talking about now. So it must be a responsible search. Therefore, you're not going to see me doing this. I will not be handling snakes. I don't care that there is a verse in the Bible that says that I can do that. I am not going to handle snakes up here. That would not be responsible. And, you know, Timothy Leary says the way to truth may be, through drugs, but we're not going to encourage you to take a trip here. That's something we're not going to do. I mean, you may have some side effects, and it's illegal. So we're not going to do that here. We're going to be responsible. And, we're not going to do these, beat ourselves up. We're not going to beat ourselves up either literally or emotionally. We're just not going to do that. That's not a responsible way for us to have our paths and search for truth and meaning. So it's a we can have a free search, but a free and responsible search for truth, Now, I especially like Nietzsche's quote here. It says, "But you will have gathered what I'm getting at, namely, that it is still a metaphysical faith on which our faith in science rests." So even if some of you are very scientifically oriented, still a metaphysical faith in which our faith in science rests, that even we knowers of today, we godless anti-metaphysicians, still take our fire too from the flame lit by the 1,000-year-old faith, the Christian faith, which was also Plato's faith, that God is truth, that truth is divine. So whether you are a theist or an atheist or an agnostic or a Buddhist, most of us say we do lift up truth. We do think that truth is something that we may view as sacred or holy or ultimate or the thing that is, however you want to put it. But we do lift up truth. For us, that is very ultimate. So for truth, and then of course for meaning. And this is where the big questions in life come that we ask. Questions like, why are we here? That's what, the Monty Python, why are we here? Why are we here? What is our purpose in life? Do we have a purpose? What matters? What really matters? Who matters? And what matters? I like this Venn diagram that says maybe what we should do, there are things that matter and decide what those things are. And there's a lot that matters. But then there are also things that we can control. And what we need to focus on is the things that are common. That's what the Serenity Prayer says, doesn't it? So, but meaning in life. So here we are, Unitarian Universalists, and we have options. We have different paths we can take. And just because I'm on a different path than you are doesn't mean I'm lost. Okay? I'm on a different path, but we're all going to the light on our different paths. So we as Unitarian Universalists do have different paths. So this was from a 2005 survey. Of UU members, 54% are humanists. This is 10 years ago. 33% agnostic, 31% earth-centered, 18% atheist, 17% Buddhist, 13% pagan, 13% Christian. Now, how many of you are mathematicians or can add quickly? So you see, this totals 179%. It was forced choice, but you could choose more than one. And many of us are like that. Well, I'm sort of Buddhist, sort of Christian, sort of, So that's what happened. 179% came up. But that shares a little bit about where folks were, at least in 2005. So we have varying different paths. And it may be a little different now, 10 years later, where they haven't done one. So this is what I'm sharing with you. And what I thought I would do today to sort of help you see the diversity we have, even in this congregation, as you know, I am the pastor of this congregation and one in Brunswick. So I've used some folks from both of these congregations to share a little bit, just very little short clips, I've got 5 of them, about their paths and for finding truth and meaning.
To the question of how does Buddhism help in my search for truth and meaning? Well, my gut reaction to that question is that without my meditation practice, I would not be able to recognize truth or meaning. I would be lost in fear and anxiety and really delusion, as habitual patterns really block us from seeing the truth. Unless we die young, all of us will eventually encounter sickness, old age, and death. And of course, those things are painful, or they can be very painful. But what I'm learning is that suffering in those events and in other events really increases or decreases depending on our habit of mind or the way we approach it. So with Buddhism, we're training ourselves for sickness, old age, and death, and really for living for joy and happiness as well. We're training and preparing ourselves for the inevitable. Unlike religions that worship a historical figure such as Jesus or Muhammad, Buddhism is not really about worshiping Buddha. It's more about looking inward and asking, what am I doing? And what are the likely consequences of my behavior or my attitudes?
Laura's not here today, but I would like to share too that Laura is a Zen Buddhist who also she goes, and she and Dixie both go to Asheville, and they're members of a Zen group there. But also here in Statesboro on Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings at 9 o'clock, you can come and we have group meditation together. So here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. So there's Laura. She's a Zen Buddhist. And who else do we have? Now, this person you won't recognize because this person's in the Brunswick Church.
My name is Isaac Davis Jr., and I am a Unitarian Universalist member of Coastal Georgia. Reverend Jane sent me an email about a day ago, maybe a day and a half ago, and she asked me to talk about my spirituality, how to identify myself in my journey. Well, I am a Unitarian Universalist spiritual person. I believe in a higher being. I believe in a creator who has created everything. I may even have some belief in some Christianity because I started off in my life when I was younger as a Baptist. My family were all Baptists. So that background was where I came from. But a lot of beliefs of the Baptist churches I could not identify with anymore. So when my friend gave me an opportunity to come to this church to seek a new awareness, a religious awareness, I jumped at it. I was really excited about it, and a lot of its 7 principles resonated with me in my own personal journey. So that's where I'm at today. What do I identify as in terms of my journey? I'm still going through that journey. I'm still trying to seek out, how do I feel as a UU spiritual person? What do I feel about the role that I play as a UU spiritual person, and what role do I play in the scheme of things of this higher being that's directing all of us? So It's a very interesting question. I'm still seeking it out. I'm still trying to learn more about it, about who I am spiritually. And I think that as I continue on my journey as a UU spiritual person at the Coastal Georgia church, I will find my answers. And I hope this helps. Thank you.
This next person is out of town today as well, member of this church, and I think you'll recognize him though.
Hi, I'm Greg Brock. I'm a member of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro, but I also attend the UU Coastal Georgia congregation a lot, as I'm down on Brunswick quite a bit. I identify mainly as a UU humanist, and I use that in my spiritual practice because I'm a person that likes new information. So I think humanism helps me incorporate new information and move forward in life with both the regular questions that you might have, like what kind of job are you going to have, and also the big questions like why are we here and what will happen after we die. And so based on my humanist belief, I'm optimistic that life here on earth is the one and only and is the way to go forward, and we need to act now because there is not a hereafter or a supernatural that to look forward to. That is just us, men and women, working together on issues that UUs hold dear.
Hey, I'm Justin. I'm a member of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Statesboro. I'm a UU and an agnostic. For me, this means I could search for truth and meaning at my own pace, and I also don't feel obligated to believe in any one particular thing.
And this last one is folks that are now members of the Brunswick congregation, but you may recognize them because they were here in Statesboro.
I'm Lacey.
And I'm Michael, and we are from UU of Coastal Georgia.
I'm a UU pagan.
And I'm a UU heathen.
Our religious paths seek truth through relationships with the earth and with one another.
And our faiths tie us to our ancestors and to their myths and legends. In our lives, UU gives us a network of people with whom we can connect to celebrate our holidays and tell our stories.
Even though there is no one here that believes exactly like I do or exactly as Michael does, the UU is full of open-minded, accepting people that help form a community and a web of support for us.
As UUs, we have danced the maypole and burned Yule logs.
As pagans, we've learned from the Bible and even broken bread with atheists.
In UU, we find our truth.
In UU, we find our meaning.
Hail.
And blessed be.
Thus, I was thrilled when I got to the church in Brunswick that they started coming because they used to come here, and of course they would help us with our rituals. So they have been doing that same kind of thing down in Brunswick, and they're actually going to have a solstice service there on the 20th, on that Sunday, which is very good for us because last year I missed having our solstice service here because I was down there. But Greg says, oh, we've got to do it again. So we are coming back, and I will be here on the 21st, which is Monday, and that actually is solstice. And if you haven't gotten it yet, I've tried to spread the word that we're going to have a solstice celebration at our home and have a bonfire, and have a good time and celebrate the winter solstice or Yule together. And we'll have some of our earth-centered pagan folks to help us to do that ritual right. That is their path. So you can see, this is just some of the places that folks in our congregation, and folks like this, we had theists, we have folks that are humanists, or agnostic, or Buddhists, or pagans. So we have many different paths here that we follow. And we respect that and lift that up as folks look for truth and meaning. This again, let's say this together, this principle. We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. I'd like to close really with something that goes along with this reading that I really like. It's in the back of our hymnal, and you don't have to look at it because I'm just going to use an excerpt from it, but it's called, I Call That Church Free. And very often you'll hear Unitarian Universalist congregations say, we are a free church. We are a free church. What does that mean? We are a free church. Here's what James Luther Adams, theologian, says. I call that church free, which brings individuals into a caring, trusting fellowship that protects and nourishes their integrity and spiritual freedom, that yearns to belong to the church universal. It is open to insight and conscious from every source. It bursts through rigid tradition, giving rise to new and living language, to new and broader fellowship. It is a pilgrim church, a servant church, on an adventure of the Spirit. I like that we're on an adventure of the Spirit. So, to you all I say, and you can join me. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come,